CBS News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent and Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan joins me now. She spoke today with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, but I want to start, Margaret, because all of us at CBS News rely on your deep sourcing in all the diplomatic regions of the world, particularly the Middle East. What is your sense of where things are?
I think you nailed it in the open. There is no decision. No, I mean, I have been talking to many of our allies in the region who privately are so frustrated here that the president hasn't closed a deal or made a decision, and that, in fact, he has been revising his own proposals. So it's not necessarily a negotiation with Iran. Sometimes it's a negotiation with himself. And that is frustrating the mediators because there are folks in between passing these notes here back and forth. The U.S. isn't in direct contact, right? You've got the Pakistanis, you've got the Qataris, you've got other allies in the region who are worried that a renewed conflict will directly impact their neighborhood.
To that point, Margaret, is this a reflection of some divisions within the White House or just within the president's own mind?
A lot of it is the president himself. He is also getting pressure. You mentioned political pressure potentially in terms of the energy and gas prices. But remember, the United States didn't start this war alone. They did it lockstep with the state of Israel. Right. And Prime Minister Netanyahu has his a different set of aims. In fact, he was quite explicit when he spoke to you for 60 Minutes. Yes. He said the war is not over. And he went back to citing nuclear program and ballistic missiles.
Not to mention Lebanon and Hezbollah.
Exactly. None of those things are resolved. And let's be clear, what the president's talking about with this memorandum of understanding, it's a truce and an outline for potential talks. When we went through the Iran negotiations during the Obama administrations, which we covered closely at that time, it took 2 years to get from the outline to the actual negotiated settlement here. Right. So these are very thorny and complicated issues. And when it comes to reopening the Strait of Hormuz, that wasn't a problem before the war. So it would only be trying to, get back to February 27th. Fix
a problem now. Let's get to this super important interview with Ukrainian President Zelenskyy. What are your big takeaways from that?
President Zelenskyy spoke in English directly to the American people for a reason. He wrote a letter this week to the President of the United States and to the United States Congress pressing for anti-missile technology, these Patriots, which are in short supply and high demand because of the war with Iran. But his country needs them right now because the capital of Kyiv has come under intense assault. Last weekend, the most significant aerial campaign since the war began. And he says that the U.S. and European allies told him they're about to get hit again. It's not just going to be drones on the capital. It's going to be cruise missiles, ballistic missiles. And he argues that's Vladimir Putin's only strategic advantage right now, those missiles. And he needs a way to take them out of the sky. Even with the Europeans foot in the bill, it's America that produces these things. And our defense industrial base just can't make them quick enough right now. So he's really pleading here for some immediate help and arguing to President Trump that the best way to get Vladimir Putin to peace is by giving him a way to defend his capital. And I want to play for you some of what he shared because, Major, it is so significant that it's not just Ukraine. Russia seems to be testing NATO's defenses, as we saw with that Russian drone that crossed into Romanian airspace overnight and fell on a building there. Also, reports of a Russian drone hitting a Turkish cargo ship. That matters because those are NATO members. Take a listen. We're hearing from European countries that Russia is taking more and more operational risks in Europe. Why do you think Vladimir Putin is taking these risks at this moment?
First of all, it's not the first time. Yes, he's doing such pressure. I think it's political pressure. It's messages from Russia, don't help Ukraine. I think this is the most usual meaning what he used. Don't, if you will help Ukraine, I will do these such steps. So he tried once crossing at the very beginning of this war. He did it in Romania. And then a little bit later, it was in Poland when they used 21 drones. Then, for example, today at night, it was, again, Romania, not the first time. We gave these messages to our Romanian partners at night. Usually, we try to catch all the drones, even when they're direction to other countries like Romania, Moldova, or the direction of Poland. We try to catch everything. If we can't, of course, we give these messages to our partners.
And just to remind our viewers again, these wars in the Middle East and in the middle of Europe are crossing over there. The drones he's talking about are Iranian-designed drones that Russia's been buying. Those are the same drones that are hitting our Mideast allies. They are hitting Ukrainians and have been for years, and now being sent increasingly into NATO member airspace. A senior NATO official told me today that they have increased some of their patrols to try to defend that territory. But it's just raising to the forefront that question of how far is Vladimir Putin really going to push this to test whether NATO is the paper tiger that you have heard President Trump refer to, or whether they will push back on him. Feels like things are intensifying. Margaret Brennan with the excellent interview. Thank you very, very much. You can watch more of Margaret's interview with President Volodymyr Zelenskyy on Face the Nation this Sunday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern on CBS.